Claude Code is so much more than a coder. And this is probably having AI all the time. We are terrible at naming things. Remember the whole GPT-5, GPT-4, GPT-3, and none of those models went in order. People were like, wait, we went to 3, to 2, to 1. Like, people were losing their mind. So naming is not our forte in AI. The same is true for Claude Code. The name is deceiving. Yes, it codes itself, but more importantly, it is an agent that runs on your computer. We've talked about this before, but what truly is an agent? An agent is an AI that has access to tools and can act on your behalf. So stop thinking about Claude Code as a coding partner, but more as a thought partner. Why beginners fail at using Claude Code is they don't think of it like their coworker. You have to think of Claude Code as your digital coworker. Imagine you were able to hire one of the smartest people that you could find. And we won't talk about the price because Claude Code is extremely cheap, but imagine you hired one of the smartest people you could find who does digital work for you. So what is digital work? Any role that you could hire that works on a computer. Now, I've hired lots of people for my company, and so I know what it's like to hire humans and what it's like to hire AI. With humans, you have to go through the same process. You have to onboard them. You have to give them access to your folders. You have to give them access to tools. The same thing happens with Claude Code. So the best thing that a beginner should do is truly think of it like a new hire. Do you want to hire a social media strategist? Do you need to hire a project manager? Do you need to hire an operations specialist? Do you need to hire an executive assistant? If any of those are the roles that you're hiring for, think about Claude in that way. This is going to completely change the way you're interacting with Claude. For example, what makes Claude so powerful is its access to tools. So I'm going to take you through a scenario where I give it access to Monday, our project management board, and it goes and creates tickets for me and things that I would manually have to do. That is something I would either ask an employee to do, or more importantly, it just takes me a lot of time. And this is where we get into the realm of really useful, helpful AI with agents because it can work on my behalf in the tools I use with the permissions I use. If this video is helpful for you, I send out a free weekly AI newsletter where I break down AI like this with real examples. I don't use complex jargon, so you can actually use all the tips today. Links in the description. So once you have Claude Code installed on your computer, you're just gonna go to the terminal and it's super simple. You're just gonna type in Claude and it may ask you if you trust this folder. I'm gonna say, yes, I do. And it starts by launching Claude Code. You should see something similar as I have here. To get started, and you can always ask AI, what is Claude Code good for? How could I use it? So here it gives me its core strengths. It can build features, debug issues, navigate code bases. But what I'm interested in is this here at the bottom, the key difference. From chat-based AI, Claude Code can directly edit files, run commands, execute tests, and create commit. This is where the difference lies. So you're like, I don't know what edit files, run commands, create, execute tests. It can act on your behalf. That's the best way to think about it. So I want to show you what it looks like working with Claude Code in a manner that's not necessarily code. And so something that I am doing constantly is writing social media posts, creating content, and sharing it. And so I wanted to test out and see like, what could Claude Code do with that? So I asked it, I said, I want you to act as my social media strategist for Sadie St. Lawrence. That's my brand. I want to look at my LinkedIn posts to study it, look at what worked well and what didn't, and also compare it to similar content creators. So I shared with it then my goal, what my niche is, and then I got really specific. I want you to study what others do better, understand what I could do differently, and I want to create a social media strategy with a week of LinkedIn posts, and then create 3 real video scripts for Instagram, lean heavily on storytelling. Here, this is a very detailed prompt, right? I'm asking it lots of different things. The act as is the first part, and that's giving it a role. The second part is saying, go and do research. And then the third part is saying, hey, I want you to create, based on that research, create LinkedIn posts. And then the fourth part is saying, create social media scripts for my Instagram. All that is wrapped around an overall goal that I'm giving it of growing my social media accounts. Now, why is that important? That is a very complex approach, right? I am not just saying, hey, create a LinkedIn post for me. I'm giving it 5 very specific tasks to do. I'm telling it how to think, what to research, and then what I want that output to be. he's so cute, isn't he? Bentley says hi. Hi, guys. You want to tell him about Claude Code? Do you? Are you going to tell him about... Is why every puppy should be a Claude Coder. All right, back to our prompt. Here you can see that it started to get to work for me. So this is what makes Claude Code so much different, is you can see then it start by asking follow-up questions and telling me what it needs to do what I ask. So first it's saying, hey, I can help you with your social media strategy, but I need some information to get started. And I'm gonna need access to your LinkedIn profile. So one, it says why it's gonna need access to my LinkedIn profile, and then some other questions. So I just go ahead, here's my response in black. I give it access to my LinkedIn profile. And this is just like my public profile. So again, it's something that anybody could see. I feel super safe doing this. It goes, does a bunch of research. And now what it does is it gives me my social media strategy analysis. It tells me what I need to get there. What's incredible about this is it not only told me like, hey, here's what's working, but also here's what's not working. And it did what I asked it to do, which is do a competitor analysis. I know a lot of these creators and they fit really well within my space. So it gives me everything from like strategic pillars and then creating the actual drafts of the post. But you're like, okay, Sadie, I could do all of this in chat. Why is this cool? Well, once we scroll down to this, here's where things get a little spicy. So then I'm going to ask it, can you put this into a Word doc and create a folder in my documents called social media strategy and save the document to that folder? Now, I do not have this folder on my computer. So here's where things get really interesting. Not only went and created the folder for me, but it actually created the document. It tells me here's where the folder's at, and here is the file. So let's take a peek and see if it did what it says it did. So I go to my documents folder on my computer. Here I see that it did create a folder called social media strategy, and voila, it created the document social media strategy for Sadie St. Mark. So let's open it up and see what we got. Here we go. We now have a document that's formatted, not great, but honestly, the fact that we were just doing all of this in Terminal has again my current state analysis. It talks about the competitor analysis, which I asked it to do, and then it talks about the strategic pillar. So everything that was in Terminal is there. But wait, this is where it gets even more incredible. So I can see that it has these different posts here. But for me, how I keep everything organized is through my Monday board. Now, you may use something like Notion, you may use Monday. It really doesn't matter like what project management board you use. This is just to show you how you can connect it with other tools. So what I did was I went and I asked it, can you add these tickets to my Monday board called Sadie Social? Now, I had never even done this before. I'm just asking it, hey, go and do this. And just like a regular employee, who I told you, you need to think of it like a regular employee, it says, hey, that's great. I'm happy to do that, but I can't just access Monday. Like a regular employee, hey, Sadie, you never gave me access to the team's Monday board. Except unlike a regular employee, it's like, hey, we can do a couple different things. So A, I can just manual entry, give you a list, and then you can upload it. B, you can do a CSV import. Or C, if you get me the API token, I can do that. So in the vein of automation, what am I gonna do? I have an API token, we're gonna give you that. So I give it my API token, and all of a sudden it says, done. I've added 10 tickets to Sadie Social board in Monday. All right, let's see what it did. So I go over to my social media board, and all of a sudden for this week's post, I see something truly incredible. I see Monday, the biggest lie in AI. Tuesday, I'll almost quit. If I pull up my document here, I can see these are directly aligned. It took something that I would do manually. I would write these posts. I usually have them in like a note, so similar into like a document, and then I would add them to my Monday board just to keep track of everything. This did that automatically. I just asked it, hey, can you add it? It's like, cool, yeah, give me access, like a regular employee, and it does it. But then I noticed it doesn't have the actual script in it. So what do? Oh, just talk to it like I would a regular employee. Again, going back to think of it as a regular employee. Can you add the associated script to inside of each ticket? So what I wanted the associated script to be inside this. Before I go into adding this in, let's just think about a little bit though how smart it was. Right? It picked the title of the ticket and it also added the date. It got those right. It was like, hey, I can associate these two, but it didn't know where to add the script. And for me, I personally like to have the script in the ticket. So it goes, ask me a lot of permissions. You can see it writing it in here. And then if I check my Monday board and open up my ticket, now I can see the actual script is right there, easy for me to use, which is truly incredible. Now, the one thing that I noticed when I was looking at what it added. So if we go back here, it says the day is Monday, and then it has the date in the column as January 27th. Now, the problem with this is that was pretty close, but Monday this year is actually going to be January 26th. So I just gave it an example. Hey, it said, it looks like the dates are a bit off. For example, Monday should be the 26th, not the 27th. Can you go back and check? And so it did, and it went through each of the dates, and now it fixed it. And then when I went to my Monday board and I scrolled over to each of the tickets, I can see that Monday is associated with the right date here as well. So again, it's not going to be perfect, but more importantly, you still need to be in the driver's seat. You still need to review. The great part is in plain language, you can just go back and say, hey, this didn't look right. Can you fix it? And it will fix it for you. Now, to get started with Claude Code, you do have to have a paid Claude account. Start with the Pro, because if you don't need the higher credits, then there's no use in spending the money on it, and you can always upgrade throughout the month. This is how Claude actually becomes useful. If you want more step-by-step AI guides like this, I keep sharing AI and data science guides in my newsletter, which is in the description below. And if you want to master the most used AI tool on the planet, click right here. Just click.